Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to all our viewers, and welcome to our live broadcast. My name is Stephanie Matza. I'm an associate attorney here at Beltran Brito, and to my right is
Gil Brito. I am the managing partner at Beltran Brito LLP, an immigration law firm. Today, our main topic we're going to be discussing is going to be O1 visas. One of the main focuses of our practice has always been O1 visas since the beginning, and it's one of the more frequent visas we do in our practice. And we're going to go ahead and kind of go through the steps of what an O1 visa is, how is that process, who actually qualifies for an O1 visa, what are some of the traditional O1 visas, what are some of the non-traditional O1 visas that we're seeing right now. First and foremost, we want to say good afternoon to Facebook, we want to say good afternoon to Instagram, everybody out there hopefully watching us, and we have Periscope as well. So let's go ahead and begin. Go ahead.
Well, the first question is always, what is the O1 visa and who is it targeting and what kind of time frame are we looking at? How long is it for? What's the parameters of the O1 visa, the basics?
Sure. O1 visa is going to be up to 3 years initially. It's a visa that you could renew every 3 years as many times as you wish, as many times as you're going to continue being offered employment in the U.S. And the visa is going to go ahead and allow you to potentially obtain a green card in the future as well. We're going to go ahead and talk now a little bit about what are the requirements, the base minimum requirements for an O1 visa. And I break it down into 3 parts. When I'm giving a consultation to a client, I always present it this way. I present it that every O1 visa has 3 parts to it. Is number 1 is going to be sponsorship. Number 2 is going to be what work you're actually going to come to be doing here in the U.S. in the future. And number 3, do I qualify? Do I have that bare minimum requirements as to, do I actually have what it takes to be an O1 visa holder? And we're going to actually go in through each one of those points individually. But first and foremost, I want to discuss, this idea that an O1 visa holder has to be extraordinary. How do am I extraordinary? Am I absolutely the top, the best in my field? And actually, that's not true. Okay, let's talk a little bit about, and go ahead and tell us a little bit about your experience with, is it going to be always the star athlete? Is it always going to be the main actor, the main musician? Who else could qualify for an O1 visa?
So it's a great question because there's always this assumption that the O1 visa is for everyone who's in front of the camera, right? The actor, the principal musician in a band, the lead singer. But really, everyone that's behind the scenes is entitled to an O1 visa as well if they can show certain categories and certain sort of distinction in a way. So there's, the director, the post-producer, the editor. There's all these people behind the scenes. You can even go as far as looking into the people who are involved in the digital media, in the marketing, in the influencing. Mm-hmm. There's this big jump as to social media influencers, and those people are also individuals who can qualify for categories for the O1 visa. You have to show a couple of things.
New media personalities, we're seeing them right now. We're seeing, quote unquote, famous for being famous. We're seeing that people have 2 million, Instagram followers, and they're basically businesses. What are they? They are producers and they are entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurs is one of the hottest O1 areas for us right now, and we're doing a lot of O1 visas for it. It's not the traditional entrepreneur, I'm just coming to open up a business. It's me as an individual. I am a business, I am a product, and I qualify for a visa. And let's go into specifics a little bit. Let's talk about, okay, we briefly discussed sponsorship. So everybody always wants to know, talk to us a little bit about what type of sponsors is going to be for a traditional and a non-traditional O1 visa. Let's talk about that a little bit.
So really you can go 2 ways with your sponsor. Your sponsor can either be your representative in the United States, and this is usually going to be an American individual, usually in your industry, or you can go ahead and go with the employment route, which is your employer who's going to be giving you your future work opportunity in the United States is going to also sponsor your visa as well. So you have 2 opportunities there that you can be a representative, and that's usually for the actor and the musician because they have a representative, or you can go the other route, which is your employer is going to directly sponsor your visa.
Yeah, so let's talk about the employment route. So let's just say we have a production company that's the sponsor for one film for an actor. What other work can that actor do? Well, you just did an O1 visa that basically is going to allow you to do that film, and that's it. Okay, because that's what the sponsorship was for. That was the purpose of your visit to the U.S. to work on that particular film. I think for performers, for what we would consider traditional, more freelance type of categories like entertainers and performers, we're going to want to see a representative visa, because that's going to allow us to get you up to 3 years. That's going to allow us to have a visa where you're able to work in different productions. You're going to be able to work for multiple employers, all listed in your visa petition, okay, from the inception. And I think typically for traditional O1 visa artists, actors, let's take an example. We do a lot of UK actors, for example, in our practice. And with UK actors, the big thing is, I want to come to the US, I'm going to come and I want to make it here. Well, to make it here, we need to go ahead and demonstrate effectively that, yeah, we have a sponsor, we have a serious sponsor. I prefer an agent or a manager, okay? But let's be very clear. Who could be also an O1 visa sponsor? It doesn't have to just be an agent or a manager. It could also be what we would call a personal representative. This is any U.S. citizen, any green card holder that wishes to sponsor you as well. Even if they have nothing to do with the field of endeavor necessarily, they could still act as your visa sponsor, as a personal representative for the purposes of the visa. This is an interesting option, okay? So we have really two types of potential sponsors there. So let's kind of move on. So that's kind of like the sponsorship prompt. So we have the sponsor. Now, U.S. Immigration really wants to see, USCIS wants to see, hey, what work is this person coming to perform here in the U.S.? Obviously, it's going to be in the area that you have, your distinguishability in, and you have previous experience with. So we're looking for future work offers that are traditionally going to have to do with your field of endeavor. But if I'm asking for a 3-year visa, I need to kind of fit into a 3-year itinerary for a client. So we need to provide some sort of work offer. Tell us a little bit about the different types of work offers, for example, for an actor in the UK.
So it could be a couple options. Let's say you go with you have your representative in the United States and they are your sponsor. So your job offer is coming usually from production companies, and it could be for one film, it could be a couple film projects, it could be TV, it could be web series. We've seen a real resurgence in the web series, and this area is something new and something different and something that we're seeing a lot. So it could be just for one project, or it could be for multiple projects, which is great because you're going to get this option to be able to take on all of these projects while you're in the US, all because your representative represents your personal interests in the States.
Yeah, and an important thing to note is, let's say you're here on your 3-year visa, you have a tremendous opportunity in the future, you have a wonderful work offer while you're here, while you already obtained your O1 visa. That O1 visa petition can be amended. We can add future jobs. We could obtain also what's called concurrent O1 visas. Let's just say you could have multiple O1 visas in your passport at the same time. For example, you could have an O1 visa to come do and work for one particular studio, to do one pilot with that studio, and you could also have an O1 visa that covers you 3 years to be able to work more globally here in the US with different productions. So we'll see different things. So let's get really down to the point of what people want to know is, like, how do I qualify? How do I demonstrate I qualify for this visa? Talk to us a little bit about the types of evidence that a client's generally going to know, especially in the initial consultation stage. Like, what really do we want to see from a client to be able to tell them honestly, yes, you qualify, or no, you don't qualify, maybe you need to work in this particular area. Let's talk about that a little bit.
So there's always, for the traditional trajectories, you're usually going to look at stuff like press. Do you have press? Is there articles of press about you or about your work? Or for the case of a journalist, which is a common O1 visa, have you written articles for major publications, right? So it's writing behind the scenes of the articles and then also publishing and being the published subject of these articles. Then you're also looking at perhaps, you've gotten recognition from people in your industry. Maybe you've been presented with an award or some sort of recognition.
Mm-hmm. How about nominations as well?
Nominations as well. Nominations work. You're recognized by some sort of organization. You have letters of recommendation from organizations or industry experts in your field who could really attest to your work. A lot of things we like to see is, credits, IMDb credits, credits for editors, producers, post-producers, all of that sort of thing. You can also see things as simple as sort of show us the success of a project you've worked on. This can be for an actor, box office receipts, but this can be for a social media influencer. How many hits are you getting? How much reach?
How many views? How many views of your videos, for example,
Right. So you can use all of these things to basically show immigration, look, this is my audience, this is who I reach, this is my expanse. I am expansive in my work, and this is what I reach.
So let's just quickly interject there with kind of the definition of what it means to be we're not looking at, U.S. immigration is really not looking at extraordinary as a word. It's really looking at a word more of distinguished. By definition, really what is distinguished? Distinguished is going to be, I'm above average at what I do, and I'm above average in my field. What does that mean? We have a good amount of credits. We have a good amount of productions. We have some press. We have some recognition. Maybe I didn't receive the award directly, but maybe the production received it, and I could demonstrate that I performed a lead and critical role in that production, and I could impute that recognition to me as well. So obviously, each case is different, and we need to analyze the case individually. This is just general information that we're providing now, but the idea is having a consultation, is really seeing. A lot of people think, especially non-traditional type of categories, think that they do not qualify. Let's take for example a college professor. A college professor has published, has performed a lead and critical role, has potentially a work contract for a number of years with a university.
They often evaluate thesis works,
they
right? They evaluate
yep.
thesis work, so they're evaluating students, so there's sort of an important role in the college or in the institution where they're teaching, because they're evaluating students or they're evaluating individuals. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're writing for some sort of publication, so it's a lot of options with the college professor or the legal researcher.
Yeah, let's talk about also scientists, right? So scientists, same thing. Scientists might be part of, publications that they've published, their research, and they might be participated in a patent. I love patents. I think that's very interesting. It's obviously, if you're part of a patent, I feel you probably qualify for an O1 visa in one regard, and obviously, it depends, their experience, how long they've been doing it, who they've performed with in the past, and a couple other factors. But generally, that's a good indicator. That for me is almost kind of like having an award, is being part of a patent process. So let's talk about just going into a little bit more of what maybe this whole non-traditional O1. Let's talk about entrepreneurs a little bit and just touch on that. It's going to be, look, what is the success really of what you're doing? That how can we demonstrate that success? So we have to convince immigration it's not traditional. So it's not going to be newspapers and magazines anymore. It's not going to be necessarily Oscars and Grammys. These people are in the forefront. Let's just take the technology entrepreneurs, which is a category that we're deeply involved in, and that's gonna be people involved in a lot of startups. They're coming here to the U.S. to solve a problem, and their app. Maybe they're working from their MacBook and they're working from home, and they're creating an app that is going to go ahead and change the logistics of how Amazon goes ahead and delivers all of its packages in the United States. And does this person qualify for an O1? Yes, they may. So I think it's really important to say, hey, do I qualify or not? Have a consultation with a professional, and just to really see if you meet at the minimum necessary, and how we could go ahead and develop the case and help you out. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about give me a general time frame. From the beginning, a client goes ahead and retains our services. What are we looking at from the time that we're having our services routine to basically obtaining a visa?
I like to say, essentially, if we're going to go ahead and focus on your career, and we've gotten ahead and started, and we say we're going to go with the O1 visa, once you've begun with us, I like to give about a month of collection of evidence. That's us going back and forth with your sponsor, with you, making sure we have all of this evidence we need to be able to prove your case to immigration. After that, we're asking for these letters from these labor unions, which Gil will go into a little further later. And you have to seek information from a union, get them their approval, essentially. Once we have that, we can go ahead and go forward and submit to immigration. Immigration right now is taking about up to 3 to 4 months to give a response, but that's always changing, and that's always a variable.
You could always go premium processing route.
Right, that is always an option.
You pay an additional $1,225 immigration filing fee. They guarantee a decision in 15 days. That decision could be the approval. That decision could also be a request for further evidence. If there's a request for further evidence, obviously that extends the period of time, but at least you knew about it very quickly.
Right.
Okay.
And you can make a decision if you've got this project coming up and you want to be able to get here. Talk to a professional about 2 months out. We can get something for you, and we could get premium processing and roughly get you here to get you soon for this project that you want to start working on in the States.
I think the overall theme is to anticipate a little bit of always expect that the process is going to take a little bit longer than you would anticipate it to take. I'm saying just for your potential future planning. I want to be here for pilot season. I have a particular production I need to be here for. I need to start recording my album, etc. Just get ready for that. For kind of like there's always little pitfalls. There's little delays. One of the potential delays is something you touched upon, which is, and one of the requirements is obtaining union letters or a peer letter. This is going to be, let's just take the actor example. We're going to go to Screen Actors Guild and we're going to go ahead and request for them to review a copy of your petition. They're going to give us what's called a no objection letter if they choose to. They're going to review your petition. They're going to review your sponsor. They're going to review your future work offer, and they're going to write a letter addressed to U.S. Immigration stating that yes, they believe that you qualify for the O1 visa or you don't. Okay, right. And either way, there's a requirement by U.S. Immigration that we need to provide this type of letter with your petition, with the petition. Why? What's the reason of that? And why the labor union specifically is because, listen, you're coming here to compete with other workers, right. And they want to make sure that you're a person that is at X level here in the United States, internationally, if you're going to be here in this market, competing in this market, and that's basically the main reason. So let's talk a little bit about O2 visas. Okay, so let's talk about O2 visas. O2 visas are visas, so you have the O1 visa holder, and then you have the O2 visa holder. The O2 visa holder is somebody that is essential for the O1 to complete their job here in the United States. Okay, let's talk about a typical O2 visa holder.
So the very typical one that I like to imagine is the actor and their makeup artist. So their makeup artist is really essential to their work. They're on camera and they need them. Or the O2 for the musician. The musician has, the lead singer is the O1 visa, and perhaps they need their composer behind them because this is the person that's writing all their music and they need them. So the O2 visa is just essential to your work and must be able to work with you and must be working with you during their O2 visa.
Can that O2 visa holder could work anywhere they wish in the U.S.?
They're required to work with the O1 visa throughout the stay of their O2 visa.
Okay. And, we also see a lot of O2s for, let's take music, managers, road manager. We're going to kind of depends what work we're talking about. Is it more live performance work? Is it going to be studio recording work? And depending on that, obviously, you'll have a different team of people necessary to complete your project here in the U.S.
Someone who really manages your career, right? It's the manager of your career. Oftentimes, there's a photographer and the person who books all of the photographers for all of their work, and once you're working with your representative, you need your person who basically knows how to get you out there, knows how to work your social media for you.
Basically, it's somebody that does something that here in America you could not hire somebody to replace. Okay, and that's going to kind of be the umbrella for an O2 visa. How about dependents for the O1? What does that category look like?
So the great thing is an O1 and an O2 are both entitled to have their family members come. When I mean family, I mean your immediate family, so spouse and children under the age of 21, and they're going to receive what's known as an O3 visa. This does not entitle them to work, but they can come with the O1 and the O2 principles, and they can come to the United States and be with their family members.
Sure. So the idea, there's always going to be the theme with U.S. immigration law of basically maintaining the family together. This is just another phase of it for an O3. You can't work, but you can be here with the O1 visa holder the entire time the O1 visa holder is here with a valid O1 visa. Right. Common question is that, Gil, I have my O1. Now, how do I get to a green card? There is definitely a path for O1 visa holders to the green card. It's called the EB-11, the Extraordinary Ability Petition. It will be the topic of our next Facebook Live, and we're going to go ahead and talk about it in detail. And I think we're probably coming to a potential end of our O1 chat. One last thing I do want to go ahead and mention, and that's going to be, kind of like how to connect with us, how you want to make a consultation, want to have a consultation with one of our attorneys. We have an office staffed with attorneys, which will be very happy to provide consultations. You could link up with us on our social media. Go for it.
We've got our Facebook and Instagram. Please follow us at Beltran Brito LLP. And you could find us on the web if you want to schedule a consultation with us at www.beltranbrito.com.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys. Take care.